At first, I wasn't actually going to release this video, because I believed if I did, I'd just look like a bandwagoning faggot, even though I've been working on this video for quite a fucking while. But, you know, I just don't even give a shit anymore. Now, you may consider this video as a sort of add-on to what I've said about the commentary community, because this person seems to really define why the commentary community is just so fucking terrible, and why a lot of the people in it indeed define why I haven't been able to stand these guys for 3 goddamn years. Also, this fucking script was in development for half a goddamn year, because so much shit happened while writing this, and all of it's just too fucking golden to leave out. So gather around, fuckers, because I'm gonna tell you the story of some faggot named Drawing Sounds, better known as Doodletones, Doodle Diapers, fucking tranny faggot, Diaper Boy, and Commander Pampers. Now, Doodletones is a tranny, which in this day and age is just an epithet for a faggot. Since all I do is bitch about the commentary community, it should be obvious that Doodletones is a commentator. And just like everyone else on planet Earth, he's bad at his job. I mean, he has well over 100 of these, and these motherfuckers seem to love it. And honestly, I don't know how you can enjoy a video with a voice changer that jarring.
Be fucking monetized are gonna say, they don't have any other job outside of YouTube. Why is that my problem? Moreover, why is that your problem?
Now, something Doodletones is well known for is for getting into hot water, or as I see it, getting neck deep in shit. And if you've seen his Kiwi Farms thread, or Twitter, you would know some of it sort of ties to me, since me and him are the best of friends. He's gotten into shit with a lot of people. That includes I Hate G, Jar, fucking Gavin McInnes, and not too long ago, Mr. Medicare. Now you might want to sit down for this one, because this is pretty fucking hilarious. So Doodle made a fucking awful video on Medicare's Deviants episode 1, since we all know calling someone a faggot is taboo on the internet these days. Now, Doodletones probably didn't think Medicare would find the video, just how those commentators all thought Proto Mario wasn't going to find their videos. So Medicare found the video, and then said some really harsh and mean words, and as a result, Doodletones received a lot of flack. And despite the actual criticisms in the video, he decided it'd be a good idea to just disable the comments. Just get a giant fucking wet wipe soaked with his own tears, and just clear that shit. Now, if you're not a little bitch, you would probably not disable the comments and just ignore whatever spam you get on the video. But Doodletones felt that he needed to defend himself on the matter. Now, I've heard people like Ryan say it's perfectly okay for Doodletones to go ahead and disable the comments.
Really, you don't have to have idiots on your video if you don't want them there. Especially in the Medicare situation where she was getting comment after comment that mostly just amounted to kill yourself. Like, I get free speech. Free speech is completely fine. But if people are being a nuisance on one video, not any of the other videos, because she only disabled the comments on one video, if people are being a nuisance on one video, why would you give them the platform to keep talking there?
You see, there's this verb in the dictionary. Now, most people don't know what that word means, but I want some of you to just read that definition on the screen, just for a little bit. Now, Doodletones is really smart. In fact, he's so smart, the institution of retards have to back him up all the time, like Anthony Candy Bar over here.
You know those guys want to make it with ponies. They call it clapping, because that's the sound their parents make when they blow the candles out on their 30th birthday cake.
So surely he should have realized that disabling the comments to these people seemed like a sign that what they were saying to Doodletones was actually doing some damage. Disabling the comments is the obvious normie thing to do when a group of people call you a kike on the internet, but that's exactly what they're expecting. When has disabling the comments ever made someone look good? When has disabling comments ever made you look like the bigger man? I don't know either, but apparently it's okay in this scenario. I mean, ignoring comments is pretty fucking easy, no matter how many you get. That is, if you don't spend your life on nothing but fucking YouTube. Yeah, 12-year-olds and their edgy comments can be annoying for some people, with an incredibly low level of tolerance. But ignoring the situation means that these people know they're not gonna get anything out of it. Denying them a platform in the comment section just makes them stronger. Showing that Doodletones is really good at dealing with troll comments. Seriously, this is some of the most autistic shit I've ever read. You really decided to disable comments over shit like this? Jesus Christ, your spine must be made of paper. I mean, what kind of neutered bitch wouldn't be able to handle comments as basic as these? The Medicare incident sort of opened up some red flags. Sorry about that, I meant can of worms. I mean, his disposition towards Medeker's video is pretty hostile for no apparent reason. Doesn't really bring up any points, seems to be fueled by mainly emotion, resorting to mindless bitching over being called a fucking degenerate.
That's only found in the minds of degenerate motherfuckers.
Degenerate.
They
Oh,
actually
God. Oh my God.
Considered normal and desirable.
Could it be that Doodletones has a fetish of his own? Well, lo and behold, Doodletones is DeviantArt. And for those that are new to the internet, you might want to grab a sick bag because I'm about to show you some real nasty shit. The defenses that Doodle and other people came up for this were just absolutely fucking amazing. You can really feel the sheer stupidity from some of these comments. Doodle said that he supports weird and retarded fetishes like inflation. Only supports. He says this, but then you see his DeviantArt and see half a dozen of crudely drawn pictures of Doodle's OCs shitting themselves in a diaper. Only supports fetishes, mind you. I mean, take that video and then take these pictures. It does kind of raise a red flag. Oh, also the Adult Baby Diaper Lover group as well. Adult Baby Diaper Lover really rolls off the tongue. The defenses some people brought up, such as, it's a label that really came out of nowhere, make no sense when you juxtapose it with the evidence provided.
I'm gonna have to stop you right there. It wasn't her fetish. It was people slapping something onto her to get a rise out of her. It was people, she was defending the idea of having fetishes. She wasn't saying my fetish is blank. She was basically saying if you have a fetish, no one should really care. And
It's a very libertarian position.
It's a very libertarian position. It is none of anybody's business. It's none of my business. It's none of your business. And people slapped in the doodle diapers thing to insult her. And I think because of that, people are starting to think it's real. I've talked to doodles. I've been around doodles. I know full well. Being interested in something in the general dynamics of psychology doesn't mean you have it. I'm interested in studying serial killers and giant crime situations, but does that make me a criminal?
Yeah, but if there's a dead guy in your closet, I think people would have a reason to believe that you are a criminal. And judging from your logic, we should just accept what Doodletone says at face value for, I don't know, reasons. Literally anyone can say that they don't have a diaper fetish, or they don't do this, or they don't do that. But it doesn't mean that's actually the case. These people are essentially strawmanning the diaper fag accusations by pretending that Doodletones' DeviantArt account doesn't exist. I mean, what, do you just expect people not to call you one when they see multiple pictures that you clearly fucking allude to having a diaper fetish? I mean, that's sort of like saying, I'm not gay, but I support gay rights and I like to fuck men, but I'm not gay. You mean trolls clearly have it all wrong. I mean, that doesn't sound hypocritical at all. You see that all the time in that fur affinity place as well. Honestly, this defense mechanism where they're saying that they only support the fetish bullshit is so blatantly stupid, especially considering they give no evidence to prove that that's actually the case. And I've heard people say that this, I don't even know what the fuck it is actually some kind of challenge Doodletone set for himself. Yeah, real fucking challenge. Well, what kind of challenge? The same kind of fucking challenge Kurt Eichelwald has to not look at kitty porn? Challenge. What a blatant fucking excuse for being a sick fuck.
You think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
Now, not only does this show that Doodletones loves to kick the fucking hornet's nest, but every time it backfires, he'll always try to shift the blame onto someone else and not take responsibility for his own actions, unless you pretty much force him to. Either that or he bitches out, showing how much of a fucking coward he is. For example, when I said that you should expect a lot of dislikes if you criticize a larger YouTuber, especially if it's from whining spurgs, and that you should shrug it off and get the fuck over yourself, common sense would tell you the same thing. But it seems that Doodle here is an enemy of common sense and rational thinking, because he took my comments pretty damn hard, which ended up creating one of the greatest tweets of all time. You know what, Todd? Go jump in a ditch and die. We don't need to hear this shit coming from someone who produces no content. Well, clearly, I should fucking hang myself, considering I have done a complete disservice to anyone who creates content on the internet. How dare you, Todd, who has no videos uploaded to his channel, criticize my behavior over dislikes. You are the worst kind of human being, and it only gets better from here. And it just shows that Doodletones is just so fucking stupid. It's such a fucking slap in the face when you sit there and work your ass off, creating something, only to have thousands of mindless drones flocking to your video telling you should kill yourself and get a life. Making videos is hard, so we have the right to complain when our like to dislike ratio isn't as good as we want it to be, because the people who hate it are blind fanboys. I'm sorry, but it doesn't matter if it's people actually criticizing the video or a bunch of r/Tomashy cucks fighting for Milady. It doesn't mean you bitching about people disliking the video makes you look any better. Especially since a good majority of commentators are doing it not only for the purposes of criticism, but also entertainment. And how exactly is that significant in any way? Yeah, you can keep calling that shit entertainment. No one but yourselves are finding it funny. Of course, you wouldn't get this though, because all you're here to do is shit on people who do things you don't like. It's like, yeah, fucktard, we get it. You don't like commentaries, why hang around commentators? Oh, don't let it get to you. Oh, fuck off. You know damn well most of us don't have a big following. On average, commentators have several hundred subscribers and an average of several hundred views. Keyword, average. Most commentators aren't used to this kind of shit. I think I remember hearing something like this in a video too, since Doodletones can never shut the fuck up about me.
Retarded shit he said and done. That just so happened to have pissed me off. You know, things like telling people they can't have anxiety over something irregularly negative happening to them.
Irregularly negative? Do you just live in a world where someone says an opposing view and they don't get shit for it? Since when was fanboy hate considered irregular? Oh, most people aren't used to it, so don't dislike their video. It's a small community trying to get somewhere, so don't dislike them, because that means you're being an asshole. Give the little guy a chance. I'm sorry, if the little guy punches the big guy, you think the big guy's gonna take that shit? But I have no place to speak, since having a 1-to-1 dislike ratio is the worst thing anyone can have. It's like, oh, you said my painting has a smudge on it? Let me saw your legs off and beat you with them. Oh, you wanna cry? Well, suck it up, buttercup. Yeah, no. To those who follow this account, I have some very strong words for you to take to heart. If anyone says you're sad, get over it, break their legs, and tell them to walk it off. Please. Get over it? Who do you think you are? Saying all of these mean comments like, just deal with it, it's the internet. Well, I'm sorry, I'm Doodletones and I live on planet fucking stupid. And I don't like people like you, you're the bad guy. Honestly, what kind of dumb narrative are you trying to push exactly? That people shouldn't dislike someone with only a few hundred subs? You know how fucking retarded that sounds? What exactly do these bullshit analogies even prove? Why should someone's intelligence matter so much when it comes to mass disliking a YouTube video in an effort to white knight some faggot? Do they not have the right to express themselves on a video? Regardless of their mental capacity. I mean, seriously, these guys are fucking retards. You really think they're gonna listen to reason? They come from Reddit, for fuck's sake. And these hyperbolic analogies you're making about what I'm saying are fucking stupid. There's a smudge on your painting, so let me saw your legs off. If anyone says you're sad, get over it, break their legs and tell them to walk it off. I don't know, it sort of sounds like you're telling these people to be crybaby little bitches like yourself. And instead of acting like civilized, decent human beings, they should act like fucking man-children. Like you can't accept the mean words that are coming from the evil tranny-hating lynch mob. Wow, no wonder you don't have an actual fucking job. You wouldn't survive a fucking day in the workforce. But you know, it's just a vent, and he was angry, so, you know, we shouldn't criticize him. That's bad. Don't criticize someone when they're angry, because it means nothing. Honestly, it just shocks me how retarded some people are. Now let's come back to that whole tweet chain, and let's see why exactly he posted it in the first place. Now here's how I see it. Remember what Medicare said about why Doodletones may have targeted the video that he made in the first place?
I look at punching down as the same way. When people come to me and they complain and say you can't target these individuals, you're too big to do that, you need to go after somebody bigger than yourself. It seems more like what they're saying is, holy shit, if you go after this crazy autistic son of a bitch that likes foxes that shit in diapers, you're going to find out my crazy shit that I like. So if I stop you here, you won't make it far enough to laugh at me later on.
Also, why would Doodletones criticize Jim for punching down? Even though Doodletones has made multiple videos on Joshua, and if you were punching any further down than that, you'd probably end up hitting Ryan square in his stupid little face. Chances are he probably thought that a lot of people would come for him for criticizing a big name, just like what happened to those other commentators. So he immediately panicked and set up a wall for himself, so no one could touch him. Either that or it's simply rhetoric to get a bunch of white knights to attack a bunch of people who criticize him in mass numbers on the internet. Either way, he's doing it so he can avoid criticism in the future. I honestly don't think he gives a shit about any of these commentators. And I don't think he gives a shit about the fetish faggots either. Actually, wait, no, he probably does give a shit about both these two, but only because he sees himself in both of these groups. He knows one day he's gonna get a bunch of shit from a bunch of people when he targets the wrong guy. And he probably knows that one day someone will expose him for having a fucking diaper fetish. So he used whatever bullshit he could possibly spew to fortify a defense for himself. And why exactly is he doing this? I may have come up with an answer, but for those of you who like Doodletones, or watch Doodletones' content, or go as far as to defend Doodletones and all this shit, I'm gonna inform you about something, and it might piss you off a little.
Ironic that although self is something that you yourself fashioned, every time something goes wrong, you turn around and place the blame on something else.
It's not my fault. It's not your fault.
In denial, you simply resort to looking for another, more convenient truth in order to make yourself feel better.
Leaving behind in an instant the so-called truth you once embraced.
Should someone like that be able to decide what is truth?
Should someone like you even have the right to decide?
Now, obviously, these events aren't in chronological order, but then again, what were you expecting? A well-structured video? This is fucking my channel, for God's sake. Now, let's go back to November when Doodletones was crying a million fucking tears over fucking diapers. So basically, Cow and Mediker's fan base spammed so much that Doodletones ended up begging for sympathy by saying shit like, "I'm gonna kill myself, but you saved me from the evil lynch mob." And after being fucked into submission, Doodletones finally owns up to his bullshit. And the stupid part about it is that people ate this shit right up. This just says it all, really. He is unable to handle this shit, so he's begging for sympathy and getting people to say, "Oh, we're here for you, hug emoji and shit." And now here's the next bit, and this is pretty important. It might go on for a bit as well, because I think there's some shit that needs to be said about it. Now, we've all done some shit we aren't proud of, including myself, and when I did something along those lines, which I had owned up to before Doodletones pointed it out, Sean decided it would be a good idea to say, "Get shot, please die." And you'd think that any rational human being would see this and own up to their stupidity afterwards. Well, if you could call finding excuses to justify bullshit and slander as owning up, then maybe so. I told him to die, not to kill himself, because, you know, that makes all the difference. Now, I could take a death threat. I've been receiving those since, like, fucking 2012, during my DeviantArt days. Especially since it results in the credibility of the offender getting severely tarnished. And it becomes even more so when you lie about the person you told to die. I was harassing people with several sock accounts and manipulating people into giving up their free speech, because that doesn't sound totally fucking vague at all. Especially when you haven't shown any evidence of this. People will always talk shit about each other on the internet because it's the fucking internet. Also, people will always talk shit to each other on the internet because it's the fucking internet. Not everywhere is a little commentator Hugbox for you or your retarded friends. And I'd love to see the names of these sock accounts that you claim that I fucking own, but I know you won't because they don't fucking exist. And I know they don't exist because right after I asked you about where you got your information from, this happened. And honestly, him justifying telling me to die is fucking amazing. If I said Ryan should die because he's a manlet that's been abandoned by God, you know how many people would have lost their shit? I doubt people like this would have come to my aid and tried justifying why it was okay for me to say that. You wonder why people call Doodletones an SJW? Because of shit like this, where he actively lies about people he doesn't like in order to make them look even worse. And also calls for people's deaths. And he'll be sitting on his ass wearing a soiled diaper, telling everyone why it's okay and why you shouldn't bitch at him. And finally, I'm gonna just put this clip from Darkside here, since he said what I wanted to say better than I ever could.
Speaking of Doodle, I think it's in order to address his biggest fan, Carmonet0. Internet freedom fighter against cyberbullies who misgender his hero. Now, if you find your way to a video that says remotely anything that could possibly be perceived as negative about Sean, you will more than likely find Carmonet in that comment section, like this hilarious comment right here. She's transgender and identifies as female, therefore she is female. That's right, you don't need hormone pills and you don't need to do any snip downstairs. If you say you're female, then you're female. So if I say I'm an attack helicopter, I'm an attack helicopter. Now, after Carmonnet has put his ass on the line to defend Doodle against the transphobic cyberbullies for months on end, what does Doodle have to say in gratitude to his biggest fan?
Redo a commentary on it later, but it was too late because Carmonnet and Blaze of Arcana did a video on Joshua's first video. Luckily, no one knows who Carmonnet is.
Ouch. That's gotta hurt. After white knighting your senpai for that long, what do you get in return? A bitch slap of truth. The fact that you're an irrelevant commentator that spends your free time defending someone that doesn't give a fuck about you.
So how exactly do these three instances link together in any way, shape, or form? Well, it allows me to make this one conclusion. That Doodletones does not give a fuck about you at all. You people bust your ass setting up a Hugbox for him, being fed all of these bullshit allegations and lies, double down on said lies, make yourself look like the biggest fucking idiot imaginable on fucking comment sections, and for what? For barely a mention in one of his mediocre, boring-ass commentaries. This really just says a whole lot about Doodletones for me, and it says a whole lot for the higher-ups in the commentary community, the ones with over 1,000 subscribers, the guys who seem to have a lot of influence within these communities. And this is something I want to tackle in a later video as well, but I honestly think it's necessary to put here, since I see it the most with good old Diaper Boy Sean. Now, I think we've gathered already that Doodletones is an incredibly thin-skinned liar, and you can really tell that this is the case when the Alt-CC came to town. Now, obviously, Doodletones spurred out and made a response, missing the entire point of what the Alt-CC claimed to stand for in the first place. This was then followed by a complete fucking chimp out, because I think the world's greasiest human sent some private chat to some other fuck, and it resulted in Doodle yet again crying about how nobody trusts him, and how he's going to kill himself, and how he can't trust anybody. Again, how the fuck can anyone still be on this fucker's side? This is the second time he's begged for everyone's sympathy. And the richest part about it is that this lying fucking rat is whining about how someone is going to backstab him, even though he's deceived multiple people just so he can make others look bad. For fuck's sake, the guy lies to his own goddamn fan base. But it's not like I give a shit anyway, since he makes himself look like an idiot, meaning I can make fun of him more. Well, it seems that Doodle may have realized that Karma is really a fucking bitch. And then he came back to whine again in a video about how the Alt-CC is the worst fucking thing ever, just to further the narrative he'd created so more of his fucking sheeple will put themselves on the front lines over some fucking autistic nobody group. Now I'm gonna show you the part of the video that's actually relevant to the topic, because half of it is just complete nothing.
Us or your channel? Oh, really? Because most of the commentary community is in America, we're not safe either. In fact, while it wasn't the only factor, this whole Alt-CC thing is to be blamed for at least some of this rant. And yeah, there are people who have an us versus them concerning the Alt-CC. While there are people in the CC who are guilty of this as well, where you're tolerant or somewhat agree with the Alt-CC, when you say the community has problems, you get labeled as part of the Alt yourself. But I've noticed most of it comes from the Alt-CC themselves. Renegade Master and I tried being on the fence about the whole thing, and people like Darkseid and even Skihound come to force us off the fence to take sides. Chambers addresses some of her concerns with the Alt-CC, some of the problems she has. Being a moderate, she gets kicked right the fuck out of their group. And yeah, sure, you can accuse her of lying about shit, but she was addressing some things from her point of view in a conversation. It's like, fuck, can't people hold some issues with you guys, or is it because you're not sucking dick, then you're just some spurky neo-CC scumfuck? Actually, a lot of this villainization of everyone is bullshit. Yeah, I'm guilty of this myself. It took a fucking public mental breakdown on Twitter to finally open my eyes and realize that's something everyone is doing. Villainizing other people for the sake of seeming like they're the good guys.
You say this, yet you proceed to villainize the Alt-CC even further. And if you're talking about that one podcast, then yeah, what you're saying is bullshit. It's funny how you talk about the Alt-CC acting this way, yet you guys do the exact same thing with people who don't like commentaries and refer to them as anti-CC. Really makes you think, doesn't it?
My question to you is, why does there need to be other sides? Why does there need to be a good guy or a bad guy and everything? Why? Answer me this, because I'm sitting here trying to wrap my head around why we need this.
Because you are the one creating separate sides. You are the ones going around saying you have to do commentaries in this exact way. You are the ones who are saying that everyone who criticizes commentaries are anti-CC. You are the ones who are going around splitting everyone apart. You are the ones creating the us versus them mentality whenever you get called out by a bigger YouTuber. Oh, Todd's gonna make people shoot up schools. Man, Jim's fucking bullying everyone. The Alt-CC, more like the Salt-CC, am I right? You can only blame yourself for this because of your stupid fucking autistic screeching.
And what's funny is a lot of the same people who have this fucking mentality on either side really also want to spout the same everyone has an opinion rhetoric. Okay, sure, everyone has an opinion, but why do you gotta demonize them for theirs? I've finally spoken out against this bullshit that has been festering on my mind for like the past week or two. If you want to argue with me, go ahead. I'm exhausted on everything. I'm not gonna argue back. I'm just gonna go back to my video games. Fuck it.
What, like how you demonize me for my opinion on people who whine about dislikes? What's the point of even asking these questions in the first place? You admitted to doing this yourself, so it should be obvious they're doing it for the same reasons that you were, and they're expecting the same goddamn outcome as well. Like I said, Sean only gives a shit about Chambers because they both find some common ground. Fortunately for me, when it comes to the commentary community, me and this faggot hold no fucking common ground. And of course he knows he fucking paints people as bad guys for his own sake, and he's probably gonna fucking do it again if he wants to. So, Sean Hemp, you neat faggot, here's some words to you. You are one of the many issues with this community, and one of the many people that have made internet communities into gulags full of retards and posers. You call yourself a commentator, put yourself up on a glass fucking pedestal, and make it seem like you can take critique, but then shit like this comes up where you bitch at someone for criticizing your fundamentally flawed videos and implying that you should simply start over and work your way back up. But clearly work is hard for you, especially considering you look like you haven't seen any natural light since 2005. If you're gonna get emotional over all this shit, over a difference of opinions and whatnot, there was an old philosophy people used to follow on the internet before it turned to shit, and it was that if you're too emotional for the internet, you shouldn't fucking be on it. And clearly you've shown that you're so neutered you can't even handle harsh reality, let alone stupid fucking internet comments. So here's my simple proposal to you. Go back to Reddit. Go back to DeviantArt. Go back to wherever the hell you belong, since the only thing you can handle is a ball of shit rolled up in a diaper. And I mean it when I say this. Get the fuck out.
You're very rude. It's not about you.
It's not about
Get out of my country.
Honestly, it's only gonna get worse from here. Especially considering now I have to talk about the two biggest problems in the commentary community now. But I'll save that for another video.